Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Leftovers podcast. My name is Cooper.
My name is Riley.
And I'm Paige.
And this week, we're doing things a little bit differently, so we decided that we were going to do a little fan fiction episode. And, you know, there could be more fan fiction episodes coming up. So, if this goes well, we'll do more. Mm-hmm. But the way this worked was last week, instead of recording the podcast, we all decided that we were going to read a fan fiction based on a certain tag on Archive of Our Own, which is where all the good fan fiction is.
To be honest.
TBH. And so, Paige.
Hello.
What was the tag that we chose?
I chose the tag, and I decided baby steps for Koopa here, who
doesn't read fan fiction at all.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with all the fan fiction and all the terms. Mm-hmm. Like, they had to explain to me what an AU was. It stands for alternate universe.
And Riley barely dips her toe in fan fiction.
Yeah, but I know a lot of the terms, but I just don't read a lot.
Thanks, Paige.
I chose to do a Soulmate AU fan fiction. AU, for all you Coopers out there, is
Cooper.
Alternate universe. So, wow.
Wow. Tell us more.
You know, before you do that, I just gotta say, high school alternate universes are the worst.
High school AUs, okay, listen. I have beef with them because they're fucking boring.
Okay, what's an alternate universe?
Well, an alternate universe is something that's like just an alternate universe. It's the alternate.
You know,
it's
I feel
main
dumb
story.
for asking. I should have faith in our listeners.
You're a dumb bitch.
But
Cooper.
There's a lot of different soulmate AUs. Like, they can range from, like, the type I read where they'll have words that your soulmate will say to you on there. I've read one time where your soulmate smells a certain way to you. You know, you smell their true scent, which sounds kind of gross.
Yeah, it does.
You know, it could be you see in only monochrome until you meet them or something like that.
Fucking the giver over here. Come on now.
Or it's just like, you know, just a bunch of different stuff like that. Or like, or their name is written on your wrist even.
Yeah, that's the one I hear of the most.
That's kind of like the fan fiction I wrote, except instead of their name, they have a tattoo of sorts, a soul mark.
Yeah.
I've also read one where whatever you write on your body will show up on their body too, so you can like communicate that way before you meet.
That's kind of creative.
Yeah, I was like, wow. But that was a yandere one, so we're not going to talk about that.
That reminds me of that.
I can't wait until we do the yandere episode, honestly.
That reminds me of that gross scene from Order of the Phoenix where Harry has to write, like, I will not tell lies on his hand. Like, what was it? Hundreds of times?
Jeez. I don't even remember
Gross.
that.
Or, no, it wasn't on his hand, but he had, like, a quill, and he would write it on a piece of paper. I will not tell lies, and it'll, like, cause pain in his hand.
I remember there was something like that for Hermione later on, where she got pinned down by the crazy lady, Beatrix or whatever.
Yeah.
And she carved the word mudblood into her arm.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, ah!
Gross.
Now she's stuck with that forever, I guess.
Surely there's some magic to fix that. Surely.
I mean, wizards used to poop in their pants. And just teleport the poo away.
Thanks, J.K. Rowling.
Thanks, J.K. Rowling.
Much. That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
You know what the worst part is? That's not even fan fiction. That's canon.
That's real.
That's canon.
That's facts.
Unfortunately.
Man, I'm excited to just, like, in future episodes
Cooper.
to educate y'all guys on all the different fan fiction AUs.
Please.
You know what? Yeah, you're the most knowledgeable. You have to inform both of us about all the fanfic
I
stuff.
can't wait to get into hybrids, which
God.
isn't always an extension to Alpha, Beta, Omega. It's not always an extension of that. Yeah.
I only understood half the words that came out of your mouth.
See, I understood it, but I was wholly disappointed.
I know a lot of stuff, and I'm not necessarily enjoying knowing that stuff. I just do.
Speaking from experience.
Yes.
Well, we gotta start with the baby steps. Little soulmate AU, one of the more basic tropes, if I understand it correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, the fan fiction I read, not only was it a soulmate AU, but it was a high school AU too. So probably double basic, I would say.
Yeah.
Mine was in high school, but wasn't in AU.
It was just...
It was Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Makes sense.
before we get into all that, though, I almost died yesterday.
Yeah, Paige over here almost died.
So let me tell y'all guys what happened.
It's kind of funny.
I was eating Burger King, and I was in a call with Holly watching some videos on Rabbit. And for those of you who don't know what Rabbit is, it's like a... Would you say
Just watch
streaming?
videos
Yeah, you
together.
watch
Like
videos with your friends. on
screen
there.
share.
Yeah, screen share. And I forgot what the fuck Holly said. But she said something insulting to somebody in a video while I was shoving fries in my mouth. And it made me gasp and start laughing. And when I did so, the fucking fry lodged itself into my throat. And I was like, and I'm like, this is fine. All I need to do is drink something, right, to get out of my throat.
Some liquid.
But my throat was blocked up via fry.
Oh, jeez.
Via disappointing Burger King fry. And so the liquid was like bubbling out of my mouth. I couldn't swallow. I could not breathe. I was terrified. Let me tell you all this.
Did your life flash before your eyes?
I was like, I'm gonna fucking die eating a Burger King fry. But Holly, I have like a headset and I was like gagging into the mic and like basically making the grossest sounds I've ever made in my life to try to survive. She heard me, but it's not like there's anything she could do. But so she just kept on talking and making jokes about the video, which in turn, because my body's survival instinct is fucking awful, it doesn't exist. It was like, continue laughing because what she's saying is funny. And I couldn't calm myself down enough to fucking try to like dislodge this thing from my throat because Holly kept on making me laugh. And my brother and his girlfriend were sitting on the couch behind me. They didn't say anything until later after I finally dislodged it from my throat. It was painful, by the way. I thought I was gonna vomit. It hurt so bad.
Oh.
And I was like shaking. I was like, ugh. I really thought I was gonna die. But he was like, hey, that was some awful sounds you were making earlier. I was kind of worried about you. We thought you were choking at first. I was like, I was. I was choking. He was like, yeah, you were kind of freaking me out. So I was keeping like an eye on you.
Oh my god.
You know, this could make a good fan fiction.
No, it could not. But,
Maybe a bad one.
But,
Nice yandere fan fiction.
I knew one or two things would have happened. I would have dislodged it myself, right?
Yes, or you would have died.
No, I probably wouldn't have died because, like we know now, my brother and his girlfriend were staring at me horrified during all of this. That I would have just passed out eventually because I couldn't breathe, and they would have been like, oh shit, she just slumped over. And hopefully would have gotten the fry out of my throat. But I told Holly afterwards, because she was like, yeah, that sounded really bad. I was hoping you weren't going to die. But, I couldn't really do
Holly.
anything about it. And so I just kept on talking, being like, this will pass. I told her, I was like, you were actively killing me because I couldn't stop laughing at what you were saying, and you kept on continuing. You were going to kill me.
Holly, convicted for murder.
Oh my god.
She was actively killing me with her
This
jokes.
story just keeps getting better. I mean, I'm sorry you almost died.
It hurt
But
a
the
lot.
circumstances.
Okay, listen. It sucks that you almost died,
Yeah.
But
can we talk about how, darkly funny it would have been when we discovered you died choking on a Burger King French fry?
Riley
It would have been like, oh no, but also, how else would she have died?
Yeah, so Riley, Kale, and I just get together to record an episode. Oh yeah, Kale's not on this episode because his car flooded.
Yes.
So, it sucked for him. Poor Kale.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Good luck buying those new textbooks, buddy.
Oh, yikes.
But we just get on the episode and we're like, so Paige won't be with us anymore. She choked on a French fry.
It really makes you think, though, it can happen anytime. Just when you're least expecting it. But part of it was my fault because of how, like, fast I was eating, I guess, because that was my second food incident that day. This is gonna make me sound like a fat ass. But earlier that day,
Paige is not a fat ass.
I was eating chips, and I bit down on my tongue, as we all do sometimes.
Yeah, I do that.
Except my tongue started bleeding,
Oh.
and I was just bleeding everywhere, and I was like, oh
Jesus.
God, I almost ate my own tongue.
You know, I've done that before, except it happened when I was getting in my car. And I just, like, my chin was on top of the car door,
Oof.
and I was easing myself into the seat, right? But my chin just got pushed up, and it bit into my tongue.
Oof.
And there was also a lot of blood, and
Oh.
I tasted it the rest of the day.
Man, mine
It was
just,
not fun.
mine was just me eagerly eating potato chips.
See, I would rather be eating potato chips if that happened to me, or when it happened to me.
Man, oof.
Oof. So enough about,
You
death.
dying.
On to the fan fiction.
We should mention that some of these will be linked in the description, but not, if we're going to go really hard on it, we're not going to link it.
Yeah, I don't want to, because a lot of these are written by, like, young teens and tweens. I don't want to just, like, bully them to death for their poor writing.
Yeah, because we've all been there.
We're
you
above
know.
that.
Yeah, but I
So-
still want
We
to
will
make fun of
criticize it.
But, if we actually liked the fic, or if we're neutral to it, we'll post it in the description.
There won't
Probably.
be a lot of links. let me
No.
just say.
But, mine, it wasn't necessarily bad. It was short, and it was kind of, like, lackluster and angsty, but it wasn't, like, bad, per se. It was a reader ex Peter Parker from Spider-Man Homecoming, and it was a Soulmate AU. It's called, Ultimately, by Delta Chai. And it's basically, like, the main character, she's like, fuck soulmates, Not everybody in the population has a soulmate marker or whatever. It's, like, 1.3% or whatever. And hers showed up when she was 15. And her soulmate words on her wrist were, I'm sorry, whatever her name is, And, I'm sorry, reader, And she was like, who the fuck is going to say that to me? What type of first words are that? Because she assumed it was first words, because when she went online, that's what most people were saying. It's like, it's probably first words, but could be other words as well.
I see.
And she was like, well, I really like this kid in class named Peter Parker, but I've already met him, and those were definitely not the first words he said to me. And then one day in class, I gotta see what it was, he comes in late again. And they're just talking, and she reaches over to hold his hand to be like, hey, you're late. Grasps hand, flips hand over, reveals his wrist for some reason. I was like, wow, this moved quickly. But on his wrist said, mind if I sit next to you, which was her first words to him. And he's like, yeah, you're my soulmate. And she's like, well, you definitely haven't said this to me, though. And he was like, that's weird, but they just accepted it.
Okay.
And so they're dating and everything, and they're happy, and they love each other. They're going through high school until one day he doesn't show up to school. And she was like, ow, my, heart hurts. Ow.
Oh, that sucks. If you're not around, your heart hurts.
And
Jesus.
she's like, why?
Like, you're gonna have a heart attack.
She's like, ow, why? I'm gonna start crying, but I don't know why. And then later that day, she sees Aunt May, and Aunt May is like, Peter fucking died.
Oh my god. I was just about to say, what would happen if they died? Or they just, is the other one emo forever? Like,
Well, now you know. You become
Like,
emo teen.
Peter died just just saving somebody recklessly, apparently.
Who killed him?
And
Or what
they didn't,
killed him?
They didn't specify. The author was just like, he was just being a reckless hero, and he fucking died.
Okay.
That was in the author notes. But she has his funeral and everything. And then later, after the funeral, she looks at her wrist and she's like, oh my god, these were his last words.
oh my god.
What
Oh,
was it? Was it like, oh, fuck?
It was, I'm sorry,
I don't want to
reader.
go.
I don't want to go.
I don't feel so good.
I don't feel so good.
Good, Mr. Stark.
I don't want to go. Imagine having that on your wrist. You're like, what the fuck? Mr. Stark.
That's fucked up.
So now...
Spider-Man, no!
She was like...
What if the first word you said to something was something really fucking retarded?
No, I've read fics like that where it was really fucking stupid.
No, what if the last words were just like snap
Oh,
and
God.
asterisks?
What if your last words were like, finally?
It's like the little X, oh, you're dead.
But she was just like, wow, he was thinking of me in his last moments, and he realized I was going to be alone and in pain. And those were his last words. And she was like, damn. And I was like, if only you'd met him earlier, because that was a really short soulmate relationship.
But they're soulmates. They're bound to be together.
So,
Their time just hadn't come yet.
if your soulmate dies, do you just give up on romance?
Do you get a new soulmate?
No, not necessarily. Okay, it depends on what type of AU you're reading, because a lot of times the author will either follow like a broad like guideline, or they'll change the things themselves. Because I've read one where soulmates didn't necessarily end up with each other. You know, you could date other people. It didn't matter. You didn't have to end up with your soulmate. You and your soulmate could be best friends. You know, you didn't have to fuck. You didn't have to get in a relationship. Like, because it's not always like male-female soulmates, because sometimes it's male-male or female-female. Sometimes there's multiple soulmates. Yeah, I've also read a soulmate AU where...
Male ghost?
It was like... like, they had like a constellation moving across their body, and it would stop when you met your soulmate, so you would remember the constellation, like, the night that you always met them. And one girl, like, her and her soulmate were growing kind of apart. He was kind of, like, being neglectful, and hers started moving again.
Oh, shit.
I know,
Ooh.
and it stopped when she, like, met a different person.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Drama.
But she was just like, I still love the other guy, though. Because his kept still, but hers was moving, and I was like, no.
Oh, shit.
So it all depends, you know. Some go out of the box.
Alright, can we discuss what a dystopian world it would be if when your soulmate dies or you never meet them or whatever, you just can't, you're not destined to be with anyone else, you're just gonna be alone?
I fucking read soulmate AUs where everybody has a soulmate, except some people just don't have a mark.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, oh my god. That's fucking terrible,
Yeah,
knowing that everybody has somebody destined for sure because you see it and you don't.
Oh my fucking
Was it like it just appears later, or just like you don't, there's no one? You're
There's
screwed.
no one.
Well, why not just kill yourself right then and there?
Well, you don't need
Or-
a significant other to
Yeah,
validate yourself,
Cooper. What the
Was
fuck
it
are you
not
promoting?
2019? What the fuck?
No, it's
That was not
1919.
woke at all. Jesus.
Oh my god! I know y'all guys should get in tears, but this was the Tumblr one that I sadly don't know the name of because I read it in passing. But this guy was like, fuck soulmates, and it was like a red string of fate soulmate thing. And it only like once each year you can see the red string to try to find your soulmate. Like if you met them in the past year, your red string would appear and everything, you know? And he was like, fuck soulmates. And he was talking to this girl. He was like, yeah, fuck them. I don't ever want to get with my soulmate, you know? I want to fuck whoever I want to fuck. Haha.
Being a real incel and all that.
And she's just like, I want to live happily ever after with my soulmate. And basically, the night... And he had like a crush on her or whatever. But he was still fucking other people. And when the soulmate thing happens, she finds hers. And she's like, oh shit, I met my soulmate. Let me follow this red string. And she follows it to the guy's dorm where he's fucking another girl.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
And she realizes it's him who doesn't want any soulmates. So she makes a decision and she cuts the string and kills herself for him so he can live happily ever after.
What the fuck?
I know. And
That's fucked up.
I know, right? And, or at least it was implied that she killed herself. Because I don't know how else they would have cut it. They weren't specific, but it was cut.
Not what I was expecting.
And she left a note for him being like, live happily.
Okay, listen.
But hold on, I'm not done. It gets worse.
Or better.
He's like, no, I loved her all along. And then that's when it ended, and somebody asked the author, they're like, what happened? What, is he just going to be able to live without a soulmate? And she's like, no, he's probably going to die. I was like,
What?
oh my God.
You know, I wasn't completely serious about the suicide thing, but that's messed up. You just die
Listen,
if your soulmate dies.
ladies, don't kill yourself for no man, okay?
No, do not.
As a man, I agree.
Just
It's
no
not.
one asked you, man. Okay, no one asked you.
Listen,
Cooper.
men ain't even that good.
Ain't even that hot take. Ain't even that good.
Ain't even that good. Triple take. We're bringing it back.
That was a really short story that I was disappointed with.
Oh my god.
Would
I
you
guess I
like to
gotta
give
talk
the name of
about
that
mine.
fanfic?
I don't know the name of that one, sadly, because it was a Tumblr one. I'll probably never
Hold
be able
on.
to
I
find
like
it.
that they're always so like poetic with like what the soulmate thing is. Like it's a poem on their arm, or it's a constellation, or a thread that connects them. Like, why can't it be something more realistic? Like a disgusting like birthmark appears on your body.
Or
Some of it is like matching marks and shit.
Yeah,
I've
but
read
it's always like a beautiful phoenix birthmark.
I've read shit where it's like, if your soulmate dyes their hair changes the same color. And I was like, do you know how hard it
That
would be
would
to
be
find
hard.
your fucking...
Like,
You'd have to
wow, my hair
experiment.
turned like blonde now. Great.
I would just be sitting there and I'm like, who the fuck dyed their hair pink?
I guess you would like to try and find them. You would dye your hair in a weirdly specific way,
Like,
and then post it on Reddit,
like-
and be like, "Who else has this haircut?
who
please?"
else has Baja Blast green hair?
And I guess, like, if you wanted to confirm it, you'd have to just be like, okay, let's get together. One of us dyes our hair and we'll see if the other person hairs changes.
Oh God. The shit's like a dystopia. Actually, this is
It's
fucked
kind
up.
of scary. Kind of scary, but I like it.
But I like it.
It's kind of cool.
That's relatable.
It's kind of cool. Now, would I want to live it? Hell no.
No. I'm not a romantic at heart.
I am, but that's how all that stuff sounds fucked up.
You know, it's funny y'all were talking about like the birthmarks and the tattoos and all that, because in the fanfic I read, that is what identifies the soulmate.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
often a tattoo.
So I read a Game of Thrones AU fanfic called Two Halves of a Soul by
Ooh.
Angel Dew, or Doe, Deux.
I see.
Yeah.
Ducks.
Angel Ducks. Okay, that's what we're going with. And so, basically, King's Landing is just a giant high school. And then all the warriors, all the characters are just students or teachers in this high school. And the main character is Brienne. And Brienne's like this geeky, I guess, sort of... It's implied that she looks really ugly.
Oh damn.
Or she's like very boyish, which she is in the show, but I think it's implied that she's even uglier. Because, like...
Even uglier. Okay.
Yeah.
What
Not
makes you
saying
say
she's
that?
ugly.
Yeah, that's what I was
Are you
like.
reading from her perspective?
Well, in the fanfic, it was like, hey, people always make fun of her for her looks. You know, people just say, oh, you're not pretty at all. You're gross. Ugh.
I see.
That's what I get on the street too.
Hashtag relatable. So, basically, she gets invited to the slumber party at the Stark house. And Sansa invites all the girls to this slumber party. And Cersei is there. And Cersei catches a glimpse of Brienne's
I
soul
already don't
mark.
like this. I already don't like this.
And her soul mark is like this big sword on her back. Which
I see.
it sounds kind of cool. But Cersei, after seeing this soul mark, starts being really mean to Brienne. She starts, like, extra bullying her. Like, just calling her out in the
I
hallways
see.
and stuff. Her, Cersei, and Jaime. But Jaime's just kind of following along. Because, you know, Jaime, he's not really a bad person. He just wants to be close to Cersei. So he does what he just does what he thinks Cersei would like. And so one day, Cersei and Brienne get assigned to work on this history paper. And, you know, they start chatting up and they're like, hey, you know, we should go to the museum, but it's not a date. It's not a date. It's research.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they go to the museum and they have a really fun time there, but it's not a date.
Yes.
It's not a date.
Of course, no homo.
No. And then they go to like this birthday party for some reason, like right after the museum. I don't know why. Like this kid's birthday party. I don't remember why. And then after that, like they just start working on the paper at Jamie's house at Castle Rock, home of the Lannisters.
Oh, grand.
And while they're working on the paper, Cersei just rolls in and starts bullying Brienne.
Well, she's got to keep up.
She does.
Her reputation.
This is like when I go to your house. You just start bullying me.
Why don't you shut the fuck up, Paige?
And while Brienne and Jamie were at the museum, Brienne was like, Jamie, you're not a bad guy. You're only mean when you're around Cersei. And so when they're working on the paper, Cersei shows up, and Brienne's just like, Jamie, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. And what do you know? Jamie ends up being a dick.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give somebody like that my time of day.
Yeah, exactly. But, Brienne gives him a second chance by talking to Tyrion and being like, why is Jamie such a dick? And then Tyrion just spills the tea.
Ooh,
and he's like, yeah, Jamie kind of didn't have the best childhood.
Oh, God.
So he just kind of follows in Cersei's footsteps. At least I'm pretty sure that's what he said. Honestly, like, I was not that invested in this fan fiction because it was well written, but I didn't think it was that interesting. But this is what I remember. Oh yeah, and also like Tyrion and I think one of the teachers, Peter Baelish, had like a whole essay writing and selling ring in the school, and they were making a lot of money.
Oh,
hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And the author, I guess, wanted to emphasize this. They said that, Tyrion, he's only a sophomore, and he's already running like this huge ring, this huge racket. He's only a sophomore.
Okay.
He's only a sophomore.
Only a sophomore.
Only a sophomore.
I would have been impressed.
But
no
he
matter
looks
what year
and
of high
acts
school.
like an adult.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and like the way Tyrion was described, it made me think that he just looked like some edgy hipster dude
What the fuck?
with his thick ringed glasses and his I think he had what is it called? A sports coat?
Yes.
Or a flower shirt or something.
Slay, Tyrion.
That's the image I got in my mind.
Beautiful.
Also, later in the fanfic at the school dance, he snuck alcohol in for everyone. So Tyrion, what a dude. What a guy.
Oh my god, he's my king.
Oh my god. My hero.
Academia.
Thank you.
Kill yourself now. Okay.
That's like similar how I felt to mine, where I was like, it was boring but well written.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So a good job, Angel Ducks.
Good
Listen,
job,
let me
my
tell you.
person.
Let me tell you.
Tell me.
I was gonna read one that was boring but well written because the shit made me laugh. It was Patrick Stump and Pete Wentz of Fallout Boy. I was like, surely this was written in 2013. No, it was like 2018.
You guys still hold on hope, man.
My sister loves Fallout Boy. I'm sure she would get a kick out of that.
It was like well written, but it was like your basic ass coffee shop AU where Pete was the barista and Patrick's he's an art student and he's
Oh my
in there
God.
typing up his papers and shit.
Of course.
So I decided to drop that one after a few chapters to go for something much better. An Undertale horror AU.
There's a lot of AUs for Undertale.
Listen.
I'm not done yet. I have more to cover.
Okay.
Well, I'll be quick about it because
Okay.
there's not much to cover.
We
So,
really-
like, there's a rumble in the lunchroom, and Brienne and Jamie team up and, I guess, wreck a bunch of dudes, and they get famous for it. Online, like World Star.
Famous. Okay.
Yeah. They're, like, people are tweeting her and, like, commenting on her fighting skill.
Oh, and not just destroy them with words. They
They're
fought
not
them.
bullying
Well,
her
it's
like they do
implied.
me.
It's implied that happened too, but it was mostly Jamie sending all of the good stuff Brienne's way, because Brienne does not use social media that much. She's above that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so hold on. Is this
So
a
she's-
ship for Brienne and Cersei,
No, it's a ship
Brienne
for
and
Brienne and Jaime.
Jamie.
I thought it was
Okay.
going to be Cersei and her at first.
Honestly, yeah.
You know, based on the description, that's what I thought it would be too. But then I started reading and I was like, oh, it's Jaime. And it makes more sense.
But based off what I've heard is that apparently she's ugly and pretentious.
I don't think she's pretentious.
I'm above social media. Oh.
But she's geeky in the story. I guess it's implied. She's a very hard-working student. Gets A's on everything. She gets an A on the paper. Slay queen. But yeah, after that, there's another fight at some other guy's house. I'm not going to say who because it's a spoiler for the show, and I know y'all haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And Theon gets in a fight with this guy, and Rob and John like basically bail him out. But Theon has to get taken to the hospital, and it's there where like Theon is like, I have this soul mark, and he's talking to Sansa in the hospital room, and he's like, this is my soul mark. It's the same as yours, Sansa.
Okay, alright.
Hey, you know, they're not technically related, but it's still weird.
It's wigging me out.
It's still weird. Oh yeah, and Theon is just living in the Stark's basement, but he's not made out to be a basement dweller. He's just kind of there.
Imagine if your soulmate, you learn, you're like, this is my soulmate, and he's like fucking his twin sister.
Oh god.
Oh.
I'd go without a soulmate.
Yeah?
Yeah. And after this revelation, I don't know if this is 100% true or not, because I was both out of it and I think it was weirdly written. But either Brienne and Jaime, like they're standing outside of the hospital room, they either hug or they hug and they make out in the hospital.
Okay.
Outside
I
of
see.
yeah.
That's kind of a weird choice, but you know.
Yeah. And so after that, it begins like the big spring formal arc, as I'm calling it. And Jaime's basically like, hey, you want to go to the spring formal? And Brienne's like, sure. And they go, and like Jaime tries to confess his love during the dance, but he fucks up. And this makes Brienne cry. And also Jaime was drunk, or at least buzzed, because Tyrion smuggled the alcohol in. And Tyrion was like, hey, Jaime, drink this. It'll boost your confidence.
No.
Little bro.
How does saying I love you fuck up too much?
I
To a
don't-
point where you make the girl you're trying to confess to fucking cry.
Okay, I don't remember exactly what he said, but I do know it made her so upset she ran out of wherever the dance was
What
crying.
did he say?
I
What was
think
it
he was.
like
It was like, you know, you're pretty good for someone like you.
No, she should not give this man her time of day, soulmate or not. This sister fucking
someone
asshole.
like you. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Jaime goes out there and he's like, "Hey, sorry for what I said back there. Why don't you take my shirt off?"
What?
Yeah, and so Brienne's like, okay. And she
No.
takes his shirt off. And he also has a sword soul mark on his back.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she's like, what? And then Jaime's like, yeah, remember that time I was talking on the phone with you and I was really mad about this thing that changed my perception of you? They had this phone conversation, by the way, like after Theon got his ass kicked. And the thing that changed Jaime's perception was Cersei telling Jaime about Brienne's soul mark.
I see.
And that's the reason Cersei was being really mean to Brienne, because Cersei couldn't have Jaime, because they weren't soulmates.
Oh, God.
So he was like, fuck Brienne. Why does she get to have my brother? I hate her.
Yeah.
And after that, it's like they become soulmates.
Did he only start being nice to her after he learned of the soulmate mark?
No, he was being nice to her before.
Define
But
nice.
then he found out. Well, nice as in like, hey, you
not
know.
bullying her.
Yes.
But not stopping the bullying.
Yeah. Nicer. Just like, hey, I'm
very
sorry. I'm
nice.
sorry for being a dick. And then he starts like supporting her at the soccer matches, and trying
I
to
don't
be
like
friends
that.
with her. And then they
No.
teamed up during the fight.
Listen.
And then Jamie found out.
This girl could do better. I'm just saying.
I think she could too. Jamie, just kind of a rich kid douchebag.
SMH.
SMH.
Men ain't even that good.
Oh yeah, Jamie also has ADHD.
Of course.
Which I guess is used to explain why his grades aren't the best.
I see.
And apparently he only writes in fragmented sentences.
Is that an ADHD thing?
I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
It was like ADHD or some other... It wasn't autism.
Okay.
But it was something. I'm pretty sure it was ADHD. And Tyrion was explaining all of this to Brienne back in like chapter 3 or so. Yeah.
Specifically.
And now, after they become soulmates, the rest of the fanfiction, like the final chapter, is just Brienne telling everyone about how she found her soulmate. And it's just everyone's reaction. And I didn't even finish the chapter because I couldn't be bothered.
That's boring as fuck.
It is. No, literally, she went to each character and she's like, "Hey, I'm soulmates," and it's like the character giving their reaction to the news.
What the fuck? That's like when you beat the video game and you're like, I gotta.
Yes, exactly. That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought of. But yeah, that was the fan fiction. I had only read like short, I guess, kind of cringy fan fiction before this. This is the first like long form fan fiction I read,
and you loved it.
It was okay. Kind of boring, but well written. So, yeah, if you want to read this, the link to Two Halves of a Soul by Angel Ducks will be in the description.
Okay,
so Riley,
I'm not gonna name mine because it was a piece of shit.
Your Undertale AU fan
It was
fiction.
20,000 words, and I can't tell you a single thing about the plot.
Oh, bother.
Okay, listen. So I'm just gonna talk about, because there's a lot of like, with Undertale specifically, there's a lot of like the theories that I don't know about because I didn't watch all the MatPat videos. Like,
No, did anyone watch all the MatPat videos?
Some people did.
Do
and
people
they
watch
write fanfic.
MatPat still?
So I had to piece together. It was one of those AUs where you have to know like.
Yo, I was
the
about to
lore
ask. Yeah.
of that specific AU, like it's already established on like Tumblr or whatever.
You're not following the
So I
right
had
blog
to
for
try
this
and
fanfic.
piece together what the fuck it was.
Yes.
Because it did not explain any of it. Okay.
But Riley, you just have to get good for this
I
fanfiction.
do. I tried to get good, but some of it was just incoherently written.
Oh my god.
But listen, here's what I think it is. So in Undertale, you can do like the peaceful run and you can do the genocide run, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, this is what I am guessing, I think it was like the aftermath of the genocide run, but if they hadn't actually died, if they had just been like, if their world was like slowly declining and becoming shitty.
I know there's a thing in the Undertale where it's just like, you know how you can do the neutral run first and then do the true pacifist?
Yes.
I know some people have this thing where they're like, once he went back to do the true pacifist run, Frisk, he left that other world and they're just there rotting, like starving to death.
Okay, it might be that. I think it might be that.
Was it like Underfell or whatever?
No, it was called like Horror Tale or something.
Do they eat people?
I have no idea what y'all are talking about right now.
There are a lot of like corpses and shit. I don't know if they eat people, but they do need to eat. It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
They need to eat food. And there's some sort of like Stalin communist government.
Hold on, I don't.
Let me explain.
Okay.
Hashtag
You
not my
lost me.
Undertale.
You've lost me completely. I was like,
Hold on,
maybe
I
I'll
don't remember.
understand.
I don't remember any of this in
Okay,
Undertale.
they get like food. Okay, so.
Wait,
what
is this
okay,
actual
let me
Undertale or
explain it.
fan
Let
fiction
me explain
Undertale?
it. It's like a dystopian world, okay?
I mean, Stalin communism. It's pretty
Okay.
dystopic.
That's how I felt. With
Are you
Fry.
dying, Riley? Are you
Yeah.
okay? Are you choking on a
I'm
french
choking
fry?
on a fry right now. Okay, listen. It was like some communist shit because Here's what I think the government was. Okay, there was like Undyne, the Dark Queen, okay?
Yes.
Stalin.
And then there's like her like knights or whatever, her underling, like we have like Papyrus, he's like one of the knight leaders or whatever, and they go around enforcing like a curfew.
Yeah.
And also giving out, like, food tokens, like, this is your rations, you don't get any fucking more than this. But everyone's slowly starving to death. So they're getting less and less food tokens over time.
Oh, no.
Okay, but, like, Papyrus, for some reason, he's getting, like, a lot of food. And Sans is like, what's up with this shit?
A lot of spaghetti.
He's like, Papyrus, where are you getting all this food? It's what is this about? And he's like, nothing, brother, dear brother.
Is he like sharing?
Expression. Listen.
Nothing,
Okay,
dear
and Sans
brother.
is getting suspicious of Papyrus. This is from Sans' perspective.
Yeah. Okay.
I should probably add that, like, this place is emo as fuck because humans just fall down the hole and then they die because of the temperature. It's, like, way hotter and colder than it's supposed to be, so the humans just die.
Okay, instantly?
Maybe, but, like, Papyrus talks to the corpses
Wait, does
as if they're his friends because he's so
my
fucking
god.
he's
Does,
so emo and lonely that he talks to the corpses.
Does
Okay?
Papyrus eat the corpses?
He might put it in
Do
the
you
spaghetti.
think
I don't know.
if the corpses decompose enough, he'll be like,
And Sans is like, oh, my poor naive brother, I must protect him. Ooh, ooh.
it's like skeleton friends. Finally, another skeleton. It's an Undertale.
Oh my god, that's so ugly. But anyways, so Sans is like, I'm gonna go investigate where he's getting food from. Like, at first he didn't believe him. He was just like, oh, it's another one of his corpse imaginary friends. It's nothing. And he's like, wait, where is he getting all of this? So he's like, I'm gonna take a journey down to where Papyrus usually does his patrol, enforcing the communist law. Okay. And then he's going through the snowy place, and he's like, well, I gotta get information. So he goes to bully one of the monsters who sees him. He's like, I'm coming here with my axe in hand. I gotta axe you a question.
Did he say that?
He did say that. He did in fact say that.
Oh my god.
And I think he interrogates this monster, and it's implied he attacks it as well with his axe. And it's implied that the monster just ran off a cliff in fear.
You've done that before.
Yeah.
Always.
But so he does that, and then he goes to the house where Papyrus is supposedly seeing this girl, okay? So he goes to find the girl in his house, and he enters the house, right? And he's like, what is this dark feeling? What is this? And he feels his bones getting groped by a spirit, okay? But not in the good suck sort of way, in
This
the
bad suck.
in the oh no I should run sort of way.
Bad touch.
It's the bad touch, yes.
Okay.
But
Sad.
he's getting groped by the ghost, and he's like, oh shit, and he's the ghost is
What is
cracking
Sans?
at his skull and shit, and he's like, oh god.
Why does Sans sound so edgy?
He's edgy as fuck in this.
You make him edgy.
He casually kills children in the first chapter, and I was like, okay.
Okay, Sans.
Okay, so he's getting murdered by the spirit, and then he's trapped in the house for a minute, so he gets out, he runs out of the house, okay? But his skull is fractured now, and he's limping and shit.
Okay.
And he's running
Poor
away
Sans.
through the snow, but all of a sudden, something gets him from behind.
Oh my wa.
Oh my
Whoa.
god.
Shindig.
And then we switch to Papyrus's perspective, and he's like, dear brother, what happened to him? He tucked me in and read me a bedtime story. But now I must go see what happened to him to make sure he is okay. So He goes to the front door and he sees Sand passed out in front of the front door. And then I was like, wait, what the fuck? Was he right in front of the house? So I went back to the last chapter to read the author's notes. That whole last chapter where he got groped by a spirit was a dream.
What?
It was a dream. Got him. Get pranked, bitch. You thought it was real, Paige? You fucking idiot. It was a fucking dream.
Do they still live in a communist society?
Yes.
Okay.
Just the ghost part was a dream.
Okay.
He didn't actually go to the cabin to find the girl.
Okay.
Communist dreams in a communist society.
Papyrus is like, okay, I'll bring you back in and let me mend
Dear
your
brother.
bones.
I like that you're doing a voice for Papyrus.
He has to mend his bones with, like, bone cream.
Why don't they just do like they do in One Piece and just have him drink milk, heal his bones? Listen, this fanfic, it might be too much for me because I'm dying. I feel lightheaded.
Man.
You're welcome. Maybe you live in this world because they're all dying and
was
they're all
all-
losing food.
It was all a dream. Oh, God.
Okay, so he's like, I gotta mend your bones and then tuck you in bed, big brother. And then he's like, oh no, I'm disappointing my girl. I should go see her down the mountain. So he's like, I'm gonna go see my girl.
Like
I
my
think-
girl?
Yeah, I think they are soulmates, but they barely use, like, the word soulmate. They never use it in the fic, but I think it's implied that he and this girl, who isn't Frisk, by the way, it's like an OC,
Okay.
are soulmates the whole time.
Alright.
Does the OC at least have a name?
No.
Isn't Frisk there so you could make your own OC? Essentially, isn't
Yes,
Frisk
which was why it's like, why isn't this just Frisk? I don't know. But anyways, I think it's because, you know, it's evil Frisk, and they're like, or the Frisk who ditched them, so they're
Evil
like, Frisk
Frisk.
was a past event, she's gone already.
Evil Frisk.
She's already fucking gone, she's not coming back, she left us to die, okay?
left us in a communistic
In
world.
a communist world. But anyways, so he goes to see his girl.
Yeah.
Because Sans was trying to keep him from going. He was like, no, you don't know this girl.
Oh my god.
I
But he
forgot
goes
this was a
anyways.
soulmate AU.
Yes. He goes to
Is
see...
she human?
Yeah, she's human.
And
that's
surviving?
Yeah, I don't know how she's surviving because all the other humans died of the temperature. I think she might be dying slowly. I think it's implied she's slowly dying.
Okay.
Does she get any food tokens at least?
No, I think Papyrus gives her spaghetti. I actually do think he puts flesh in the spaghetti because she doesn't eat any of it. She's just like, ha, that's nice, and then gives it to like a monster.
I mean, that's a good way to go about it. Never trust a skeleton.
It's
But-
not because his cooking is shitty, it's just human spaghetti.
I thought Papyrus was good at cooking spaghetti.
Listen, this is 20,000 words, but once he gets to like the house, almost nothing happens. Like he talks to the girl again, and it becomes like poetic, like their souls or whatever, but nothing fucking happens after this point.
Cough that fry out.
They don't fix the communist world, okay? They're all just slowly dying, whatever.
This is depressing. It's emo as fuck.
And there was no like ending. I guess they never finished it.
Is it ongoing or just...
I don't know. The last update was in 2018, like August 2018 or something.
Oh.
So, but yeah, don't read this one. It's
Well, I don't even know
really
which one it is.
good. It's really
Good?
wordy. No, it's not good. It's so wordy and nothing happens.
What do you mean by
There was a whole.
wordy? As in, like,
It's 20,000 words, but that was the whole plot.
Okay.
Do I need to tell you more?
Okay.
And there was a whole chapter about a dream.
Hey, that was pretty intense. You know, I didn't think that was a dream. But I'm
Yeah,
really
got 'em.
disappointed.
I fucking got you, bitch. Get dunked.
I've been gotted.
Oh my god.
But not a good example of the soulmate trope, I gotta say. Like, it was barely even explored
What
in
would,
this fic.
what would you rate yours? Not based off of don't do
Goodness
this.
to
Yeah.
entertainment.
Like, yeah.
It was kind of funny because of, like, thinking about the wider implications of the communist society, but actually reading it was kind of terrible, so I'll do a 4 out of 10 on the
4 out of
entertainment
10
scale.
on entertainment? What about how well written it was?
I don't think they were, like, young, because there were some just blatant misspellings, but also, like, there were really poetically written lines, and I was like, what? And usually there would be the poetically written line, but also with a bunch of misspellings in it.
Maybe they're my age, because I still misspell a lot of shit.
It was a lot. But yeah, it was not well written. I would also give that a solid 4 out of 10.
4
Maybe a 5.
out of 10.
I'll give it a 5
A solid
out of 10.
5. I mean, you gotta be fair
But
to this person.
it was also incoherent. Like, I couldn't tell what happened in certain things. Like...
Well, the fact that...
Yeah, you gotta take that into account.
Well, the author did say that a chapter was a dream in the author notes.
Yeah, they didn't... I would never have guessed it was a dream unless I read the notes.
Or maybe you just didn't
Did they-
read into it enough.
Did they at least, like, italicize the font or anything when it became a dream?
No.
A flat no.
I would, I'd give mine for entertainment purposes, I'd give it like a 2 out of 5. But for writtenness, I'd give it like a 4 out of 5 stars.
I noticed that you did a scale out of 5, but I did it out of 10.
I figured
You
this is
fucking
very, like, you know, it's whatever.
Coward.
You can do it out of goose or whatever.
Out of goose.
Geese?
No, I'm gonna give...
coward. You idiot.
I know how I'm gonna rate mine. It's gonna be Cooper's out of 10.
So, definitely worth less than 1.
1 Cooper is equivalent to 1.
To 1. I'm glad you have affirmed your worth.
You're
in front of
dabbing
this
as you're saying all
podcast.
this, too.
I am.
I'm glad you know that you're as valuable as any other person.
So, for a well-writtenness, I would give it a solid 8 Coopers out of 10.
Nice.
8 Coopers out of 10. You know, there were points where I wasn't quite sure what was going on, and I think, like, in the first 2 chapters, I think when the author was setting up, like, who each character was, it was a little hard to, like, figure out who was who and who did what. Because I think, like, part of the first chapter is, like, of course Sansa made the team, and I was like, wait, what team? You know, but after that, it was pretty well written. 8 Coopers out of 10. And entertainment, probably 6 Coopers out of 10.
Yeah.
Probably a solid 6.
The fights were...
It sounds like the actual best one that was on this.
Well, the fights were interesting to read. You know, there was action, and I did enjoy reading that Tyrion is running a racket in the high school.
Like, mine was just like a one-shot. It only had 1 chapter. I get, like, you know, I guess it's kind of subjective on, like, if you want to just read a short, angsty thing, but it wasn't my cup of tea. So, yeah.
Mine was great. I loved it.
I liked hearing about yours.
I kind of want to read yours, but I also
Okay.
don't think I should.
No, trust me.
You should try and read the first chapter and tell me what you think of it. I'll link it to you.
Okay,
later.
link it to me later.
I have read some really shitty fan fictions I've recited to y'all. And trust me, it's never worth it to read it.
No, it's not.
I don't care if you're like, wow, that was really interesting or funny. No, it's not when you're reading it.
Oh God, you're right though. You're right.
You're really right, though. So I think it's about time we wrapped up this episode of the Leftovers podcast, wouldn't you say?
All right, audience, I gotta ask you a question.
Oh God.
Let us know if you liked hearing us talk about fan fiction in the comments.
Yeah, we could make
If
this
you made
a
it this
fanfic
far,
podcast.
We could. Yeah, we're still kind of experimenting how we can get our
We
footing.
filled the whole episode with it though. That's a good sign.
We did. It's a very good sign.
I know that I always will talk about fan fiction.
Yes, and you are the inspiration for
Hold
this
on.
idea.
Should we figure out if we're gonna do this? Should we figure out what tag we're doing for next week?
Yeah.
Announce it
Should
right
be a
now?
tag or a fandom?
We can do a fandom or a tag.
Who wants to pick?
Let's do.
Let's see. Man, all the tags I'm thinking of are like fucked. Like, they're in deep, man.
You know, how about we just do a fandom?
Let's do a
instead?
fandom. That'll be easier
That'll
on
be
my soul
easier.
right now.
Alright, well, fandom.
Well, since it's a fandom, one of y'all guys can pick.
Okay, let me think. What's good? What's good? I don't want to pick Undertale, okay? Though I'm tempted, we can't do it twice in a row.
Why don't we do Divinity?
There's no fanfics
I
on
got you.
Divinity.
How about we do some Overwatch?
I was about to say
fanfiction?
Overwatch.
Yeah.
Let's do
That's
some
what I was gonna
Overwatch
say.
fan fiction. I'll read that.
I've read a lot of Overwatch.
I also actually have as well.
Listen, Widowmaker.
Ooh.
I'm not about that anymore. I'm educated, and I realize that the best gay ship is Pharmacy, and that's what I need to go for these days.
Pharmacy.
I'm finally educated and woke. But yes, we will do Overwatch. That will
We've
be our
decided.
tag.
It's official. So, yeah.
Let's just jump into that.
Let's just jump out of it.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the Leftovers podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can find us on iTunes and Google Play. So yeah, bye guys.
Bye.
See you
Farewell.
next week.